Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're going to do a biscuits and gravy breakfast casserole. You can in fact have breakfast for dinner, so that's what we're doing now. I melted half a stick of butter, which is 4 tablespoons. I'm going to try to get this on low. And we need to go ahead and add, let me set that there. We need to go ahead and add a 1/4 cup of flour because we're going to make like a gravy. Alright, so I'm only going to do about half at a time. And now you need to add 2 cups of milk. And I'm going to have to use almond milk. But you do not have to do that. I'm going to slowly add that in.
Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand.
I already prepared my breakfast sausage. I cooked it loose and preheated the oven to 350. So you'll need to do that. Right now you're making a gravy instead of using gravy packets. We've tried those casseroles before and we didn't like them because they kind of were salty tasting or didn't have any flavor at all. So we like this one better. We'll turn the heat back up. And then we're fixing to start adding our seasoning. Some salt, about a half a teaspoon of salt, some pepper, a little bit less of the pepper, and I like a lot of pepper. Right, and some onion powder, about the same amount. And it's starting to clump up a little bit, so I'm going to try to use some of this. So that was our milk, our salt, pepper, and onion powder. Now you will need to add some of your sausage into this, but I'm trying to let it get a little bit thicker first before we do that. Also, I didn't add my red pepper flakes to the sausage, so I'm going to put just a little bit in here. So we've gotten it to thicken up just a little bit, and that's all I needed was just a little bit of thickening. All right, the next thing we're going to do before we take it off the stove is add in about a half a cup of our cooked sausage that's been drained because we want our gravy to have that flavor. And I'm just going to let it simmer just for a few more minutes before I take it off the heat because we're fixing to get ready to assemble our casserole. You need 8-count Brand's size biscuits, and these are the jumbo biscuits from Walmart, but you can use whatever brand you need. If you only have like this small cans, you can probably use two of the small ones, and that would probably work too. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to quarter these, and we are going to spread them throughout the casserole dish.
I wish I could talk when the silence so loud. I wish, oh I wish I could wipe my own memory out. I wish I could do something that will make sense. I wish I would know what you're thinking about. I wish I could wipe my own memory out.
So the next step would be to get our sausage. Go ahead and cover them with that. This is our cooked sausage that we set aside.
Let's be honest, sounds like home. Still I'm here alone and I'm calling your phone.
And then you're going to put half your cheese. So you have about 2 cups of shredded cheese. You're going to use half.
Somebody else. I wish I could talk when the silence so loud. I wish, oh.
And then we're going to move on over to our 6 eggs. We need to add about 1/4 cup of heavy cream, but I'm going to use milk. I have 6 eggs in here. And we're going to whisk these. You can use a fork if you don't have a whisk. I've used one of those for years. And probably should have this time because it probably would have been a little bit easier.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes.
After you've whisked your eggs and your milk or cream, pour it over what you already have in the pan. Pour that over there. You're going to put your homemade gravy over top of this.
Restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover agents of the other. Beyond gravel.
We are going to go ahead and top it with the rest of the cheese. You're going to bake this uncovered in the 350-degree oven for about 35 minutes. You just need to kind of pay attention. Biscuits need to be done. Cheese needs to be melted. Eggs need to be cooked. And that is it. Okay, y'all, so this is the finished product. We let it rest a little while before we carved into it. I think what makes this the best casserole is the homemade gravy. You do have some recipes that are like these that have packet gravy for the casserole, but it doesn't taste as good as the homemade. And it did perfect, even though I did a substitution for the milk. We are going to make tater tot sausage breakfast casserole. And this is basically like a dump and go, so you should have no problem getting all this together. The first thing you need is you could do 2 pounds of breakfast sausage cooked to loose and drained. I just did 1, but you could do 2 on that. And you can use hot sausage, but I used mild because that's all I could find. I've already cooked it, drained it, it's already in my bowl. So we're gonna go ahead and add the tater tots and the cheese. And then this is mozzarella and cheddar. And then you can look below for all the measurements and all that. So go ahead and dump this into your baking dish. Try not to get in the way of the camera.
Brand new street and brand new me. Side by friends I need. Don't you tell.
So I'm gonna set this aside real quick. And I've got our eggs in this bowl. And we're gonna put about 2 cups of milk in here with them. If I can pour them. Oh, Lord. 2 cups of milk. You can use any type. I used almond, of course. I'm gonna just kind of lightly stir this because my bowl is very little.
I wish I could dream about somebody.
And in this, we're gonna go ahead and combine our garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. So for onion powder, you're gonna need about 1/4 teaspoon. But if it's a little bit more, that's okay. Okay, and garlic powder. Put that in there. And salt and pepper. You can be a little bit more generous. So, pepper, salt. Lightly stir that. You want to combine it. I did try to beat these eggs a little bit, not much, just lightly beat them before you add everything in, so that when you go and pour it into the casserole, they're already beaten.
Hey,
Okay. Pour your egg mixture over the top. And that's it. Alright, so you can cover this and bake it later. You know, cover it and refrigerate it and bake it for later. Or you can go ahead and put it in the oven. 350 for about an hour or a little bit more. So your tater tots need to be cooked, eggs need to be cooked, and cheese needs to be melted. So I will see you back here as soon as I get this out of the oven. Okay, y'all, so this is the final product straight out of the oven. I did have to cook it a little bit longer than the recipe states. And I did have to raise the temperature of the oven to like 375. But other than that, it did good. You will have to keep an eye on it so it doesn't burn on top. So just kind of tint it with foil and it should be good to go. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.
brand new street and brand new me, side by side.